Hello, family. So, my wife and I were just having a chat about the power of influence and the company you keep. And even though I had something totally different lined up for this week, I thought this was way more important. So, I will actually be benching my initial thought for the week and I will be sharing this instead because I think this is absolutely important for you as a person, as an aspiring entrepreneur. If you want to maximize your life, then this is a topic we have to talk about. Now, I'm going to take a drive now and we'll just talk about it as we go. Let's get it. Season has changed, by the way, so now it's wet and cold, but yeah, let's go get it. So let's hit the road, and I'm just going to share very quickly 3 important reasons for you to be mindful of who you keep company with. And let me just start that off by asking, who are you riding with? Who's riding in your car and whose car are you riding? Because those things determine a great deal where your life is going to end up and how your life is going to turn out ultimately. I mean, I feel like if only we paid more attention to the company we keep, a lot of things will become so much easier for us to figure out. And I'll just start off, let me tell you this quick story as it comes to mind, and we're just going to get going, by the way. Several years ago, I had the privilege of riding with someone in government, and the experience has never really left me because we moved so fast because he had a convoy. So we had, a security entourage, and we could speed through traffic everywhere. They had the sirens blaring, cars were pulling out of the way for us. That was the experience. It was absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, sometimes it was scary initially because of how fast we were tearing through traffic, but soon you settled into it and it became normal. And that was because I was riding with someone who was powerful, who had a crew, who had a team that literally cleared the way for us as we drove. And that's the first point I wanted to realize. The company you keep determines a lot. And one of them is how fast you go. If I was riding by myself, I'd never ride that fast. A trip that was supposed to take us about 6 hours ended up taking us literally just about 3 because these guys were moving double time and we weren't stopping anywhere, And that was because I was riding with someone who had a crew, who had an entourage, and they had the power to do that which I couldn't do. And that's the first thing I needed to realize. When you have plans to accomplish so much in life, if you're riding with the wrong team, no matter how much you want to, make things happen, no matter how fast you want to go personally, if the crew you're rolling with is not going that fast or does not have the ability to go that fast, you ain't gonna make it happen. It's just not going to happen. So first off, be sure that the crew you're rolling with is not slowing you down. Be sure that the crew you're rolling with actually is helping you make progress and achieve the goals that you've set for yourself to achieve. Otherwise, you'll just find out that you're wasting a lot of effort trying to accomplish things and seeing that you're not getting the results. Not because you're not great in yourself, but because you're rolling with a team that makes it impossible for you to accomplish those goals. So check the team you're rolling with. Now, the second thing I need you to think about as you contemplate who you're rolling with in life is that the person in whose car you ride will determine ultimately the direction of your life. The first thing we talked about now was speed, how fast you go. But even before we talk about speed, maybe we should be thinking about what direction we're going in. Because ultimately, if I head off to the train station right now and I jump into a train that is bound for London, guess where I'll end up in a few hours? You guessed it, London. Because I got in a train that is bound for London. So the one you choose to drive you will determine where you end up. You cannot possibly get in a coach bound for London and expect to end up anywhere else but. So I want you to begin to think about that very seriously. Who am I actually riding with? because where they're going is where you are going. You can't be telling me, you know what, I want to build a successful business, I want to turn my life around and achieve all of my goals, but you're rolling with folks who couldn't care less. People who after work all they do is waste time in front of the TV, have no plans, have no goals. The truth is, your life is going to end up and it's going to be a perfect reflection of those people who you keep company with. So take a moment to actually pause and ask yourself, who are the folks I'm keeping company with? Because if the folks you're keeping company with are not making you better, if they're not challenging you or inspiring you, you will end up just like them. And if you are the smartest person among your crew, if you're always the one most driven among your crew, you probably need another crew, because then that crew is not really helping you, they're taking from you. You are the one who's bringing any value to the group. That is not a great group. You need a group that brings different bits, and someone is pushing you in this area, you're pushing them in that area. A symbiotic relationship that makes you better, not a symbiotic relationship that drains you. These are hard things that we have to think about, because for some of us, we need to cut away from certain friendships. For some of you may need to dissociate with certain people. And yes, that is not the easiest thing to hear. That's probably not what you want to hear. But if you are serious about accomplishing your goals, even as we go into the last 2 months of 2025, you definitely want to reevaluate and look at the people around your life. Are these people helping me? Are they making me better? Spiritually, are they helping? Physically, are they helping? Materially, are they helping? Financially, are they helping? Are they pushing me to be better? Ultimately, that is what you want. You need people who push you to be better. And when I say cut people out of your life, that doesn't mean you don't talk to people at all, or you don't, say hello to them. No, it just means they are not your standard, and they're not the ones from whom you derive your value, your sense of direction. And also, you don't spend the most time with them, because you cannot spend all your time with the wrong set of people and say you don't want to be like them. Whoever you spend the most time with will ultimately have a powerful impact on your life. I think there's research that actually shows that when you put low performers around high performers, there's every tendency they will get better just because they're associating with a group of high performers. And when you take a high performer and drop them in the middle of low performers, the tendency for them as well is to drop in performance, because now they're surrounded by people who are performing below them. That is the reality. And if that applies in work, it applies in every other area of your life. If you want to pray more, hang out with people who pray more. If you want to do better in business, hang out with people who do better in business. If you want to make more money, find a way to hang out with people who make more money, whether virtually, online, or in person. Change your network and watch your net worth change. So the third and final point that I think I need to make about the company you keep is that the company you keep influences your idea of what is normal and what is possible. If you roll with people who don't believe that it is possible to make a certain kind of income, you will not make that kind of income. If you roll with people who think certain things are basically impossible, that will, my friends, be your reality. Just think about it yourself. What are some of the things, some beliefs that you've held all your life? And think about who actually led you into believing those things. Now, some of those things are not even true, some of those things are not even right, but somehow, because you've kept company with people who believed it to be true, it has become your reality. It has become what you normalize as true. And that's my charge to you. If you don't want your life to be limited by ideas that are not even true, then get yourself and get your mind exposed to people who think at a higher wavelength, who think the way you want to think, who think the way you aspire to think. There are people who approach every difficulty as an opportunity to create value, and there are those who see every difficulty as a problem. And you have to make a decision what your reality is going to be. Are you that person who would always see things as a problem, or are you that person who instead will see things as an opportunity to make change and create value? Whichever it is you decide will be greatly influenced and impacted by the people you surround yourself with. And that primarily is my charge for you today, guys. As you go into this last week of October, you definitely want to be thinking, what is my reality? What is it that I want to accomplish? And the people surrounding my life, Are they helping me towards that dream? Are they helping me towards that reality? Or are they taking me away from it? Because if they're taking you away from it, the reality is you need to cut ties and get around the people who would inspire you to be all that you're meant to be. I hope you guys have found this useful. I'm heading back in now. Have a fantastic week ahead. And I would say, if you're someone who's yet to subscribe to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. It costs you nothing, but then it definitely encourages me to keep creating the content I create on this page. So until next week, have a fantastic one, and I'll catch up with you then.